right. Wabbit Crime Network. We are in the house. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat. We know how this goes. And we're back for another one. Wabbit Crime Network Watch Along. Late night edition. This is the late night edition. All right. All right. And we are here. We are live. Wabbit Crime Network. We're doing a late night parole board watch along. It's one of those kind of nights. So I want to shout out everybody for pulling up. Y'all know how this go. If you're new here, then you're gonna see how this goes. Because we do parole board hearings over here and other stuff, but on my live streams, it's parole board hearings. We do it live. We're going to be watching along a couple cases. Going to see the interviews, see how it goes with the judges, because these inmates are up for parole. These inmates are up for parole, and they're having a parole board hearing to see whether or not the judges will grant them parole or deny the parole. So that's the interesting part. Hearing these cases, hearing what some of these people are talking about and how they got in the situation that they got into. It's very interesting. Very interesting. And as time goes by, we'll be watching, I'll be breaking down a lot of the cases. I will be doing more in-depth research on the individual cases, and this way you guys can get a full idea of the backstory and the front story and the side story. Give you guys all the stories and a few other different setups. And if you have a community wall, share this live. If you have a Twitter, if you got a social media account, share this live. Also, don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to hit the like button. Once again, we're going to be watching parole board hearings. I want to make sure that people know about the Wabbit Crime Network Discord. If you don't know about the Wabbit Crime Network Discord, you might want to check it out. We are streaming live every day. Well, Monday through Friday, the trials, live stream trials. Right now, we are streaming the YSL trial. So if you have a membership on this page right here, you will have full access to the Discord. But not only to the Discord, but to the rooms where you get to watch the trials. For the trial watch rooms where we watch the trials are for members only. The Discord itself is for anyone. If you're into crime stuff and crime content, join the Discord. Get updates. We got all type of information about current crimes, past crime, cold cases. And as this page grows and grows and grows, we will be doing a lot of deep diving into some cases, individual cases, special cases. So it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, but it's going to be worth it, and great content. It's going to be great content. So we're growing, and do remember to check out the We the Wabbits merch. And I'd also want to give a shout out to Angelina Rogers. She bought a shirt. She bought a shirt today or yesterday. I think it was today. So shout out to everybody that's buying Wabbit Crime Network merch. It goes a long way to support this channel. You are appreciated. Now, we are going to get on with our first case today. I hope everybody's ready to vote. I hope you got your voting fingers ready. I hope you got your magnifying glasses to pay attention. Because it's that time, ladies and gentlemen. It's that time for our case. Now, our first case, we're going to do it like this. If you're not familiar, then let me get you up to speed on how we do this. So we are going to watch together the parole board hearing where the judges will interview the inmate and then they will decide whether or not they will grant parole because they will vote. So to make it more fun and more interactive for everyone, right before the judges make their decision, I will pause the video and I will put a poll in the chat and I will give everyone 3 minutes to vote on whether or not they think the judges will deny or grant parole in this case. And if you're a member, you have access to the emojis, the denied emoji, the granted emoji. You have access to the golden ticket emoji. When the 3 minutes is up, I will end the poll and read the results of the audience. And then I will play the results of the judges, and we will see if the audience and the judges were in line. It makes it very fun and interactive. So come have fun with us. If this is your first time here, I hope you enjoy the content. But without any further ado, let's do it. I will be in the chat with everyone else congregating. I will be talking to you guys in the chat until it's time to vote. Then I will pause the video and I'll be right back up here. So I'll see you guys in the chat. And I hope you guys enjoy the content. And shout out to Sam Ryan, who has became a member of the Wabbitry. Sam, I hope you joined the Discord. We do trials over there. We watch live trials. We got cold cases. We got updates on crime stuff. So if you're into crime content, feel free to join the Discord. You also have access to the members only rooms where we stream live trials. Like right now, during the week, we're streaming YSL trial live, the YSL trial live, and we're also going to be streaming multiple trials at the same time. So I appreciate your support. Thank you. And let's get it started.
By the governor. Our remote location this morning is at St. Tammany. Good morning, St. Tammany. Would staff in St. Tammany introduce yourself for the record, please?
Corporal Eric Jones, GFC lot.
All right. And my name is Cheryl Renanza, serving as chairman of the parole panel today. I'd ask my colleagues on the panel to introduce themselves. Mr. Roche.
Alvin Roche.
I'm Keith Jones.
All right. And our first case this morning is Mr. Joseph Lee. Mr. Lee, is that you? Good morning. Can you hear us okay?
Yes, ma'am.
There you go. Would you introduce yourself to the parole panel? Tell us your name and your DOC number.
Joseph Lee. My DOC number is 445523, ma'am.
All right, good. So, Mr. Lee, we're here for a revocation decision this morning. You're accused of violating the conditions of your parole. In front of you, there should be a parole revocation questionnaire. And is that your signature at the bottom of that form dated March 26, 2020? You don't have it?
Hold on a second. I'm having connection issues here. Hold on.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good, thank you. So, Mr. Lee, did you request appointing counsel at your preliminary hearing?
Yes, ma'am. Is this the preliminary here?
No, this is the revocation hearing.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
You had a preliminary hearing in February.
I had counsel at that, ma'am.
And did you expect counsel this morning?
No, ma'am.
All right, so you did have counsel at your preliminary hearing, but you're not asking for appointed counsel today at your revocation hearing.
That's correct, ma'am.
Okay. So I'm going to read the allegations against you, Mr. Lee, after which you'll enter a plea of guilty or not guilty. You can say, you can do either of those pleas with or without a statement. And then after you enter your pleas on all the allegations, we'll have a discussion about that and then make a revocation decision.
Yes, ma'am.
So let's get started. So, Mr. Lee, you are accused of violating condition number 4 in that on July 16th, 2019, you engaged in criminal activity when you committed the offense of domestic abuse battery, a misdemeanor, as evidenced by your arrest on July 17th, 2019 by deputies from St. Tammany Parish Sheriff's Office who charged you with domestic abuse battery, a misdemeanor. On March 20th, you were found guilty of battery of a dating partner. You were sentenced to serve 3 months in the parish jail and were given credit for time served since your arrest. Mr. Lee, how do you plead to violation of condition number 4?
I plead guilty to battery of a dating partner with a statement, ma'am.
Guilty with a statement. Okay, we'll take the statement shortly. And then condition number 10, you failed to make any payments to your supervision fees and are currently $126 in arrears. How do you plead? Guilty or not guilty?
I plead guilty to that too as well, ma'am.
Okay, so let's hear your statement, sir, Mr. Lee, on condition number 4. You pled guilty with a statement. Tell us your statement.
Yes, ma'am. I wrote this. May I read this?
Sure.
Okay, it says, first and foremost, I would like to say I take responsibility. I would like to go on record saying that the victim tried to drop the charges and she isn't in favor of revocation. I also like to note that I've been in jail for almost a year on a misdemeanor DAB, which gave me a lot of time to reflect on life. During this time, my mother has been diagnosed with cancer, and I ask that you find mercy in your heart to send me home to take care of her. Thank you, and God bless. That's as far as my guilty with a statement now.
All right, and you indicate the victim dropped the charges, but you were found guilty in court on March the 20th.
She attempted to drop them. I have a signed affidavit right here, ma'am, where she attempted to drop it, but they still found me guilty, like without a witness or nothing. But I mean, I'm owning up to this because I'm ready to move forward in life.
All right. All right, thank you, sir. I'm going to ask my colleagues if they have any questions. Mr. Roche? Mr. Jones?
No questions.
Is there any additional information? Mr. Roche, go ahead. I'm sorry. You're still on mute. There you go.
Madam Chairman, I have no questions.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Lee, is there any additional statement you'd like to make to the parole panel?
Yes, ma'am. Before recently being locked up, I had got accepted into Bible college, and I had recently just received a job at AWG that I was supposed to start like on the 28th, but unfortunately I didn't make it. And I just wanted to state that for the doctor as well too, man.
The 28th of what?
July the 28th,
Oh, I see.
I was supposed to start my job at AWG, and in October, like the 20th, I was supposed to start Bible college at City Church of New Orleans.
Mhm. All right. Well, good. Is the panel prepared to vote?
Yes.
All right, wait a minute. Okay, all right, panel. Panel, are you guys prepared to vote? Oh shoot, I didn't even write the question. Hold on. All right, let me get the timer. All right, the 3-minute timer is started. The poll is in the chat. Now, guys, what y'all think, man? Do you think the judges will grant parole in this case? They ain't had no questions, y'all. I'm like, wait a minute. Bruh, I don't know which direction this could go. I don't know which. I think this case was what, 5 minutes long? This is the fastest one I've seen yet. This is the fastest one I've seen yet. And the funny thing about it is he already had his speech ready. So they ain't even had no questions for him. He said everything he needed to say as if they asked him those questions. So he already knew what they was gonna ask him. All right, we got 1 minute and 45 seconds left. Get your votes in. And if you haven't, please check out the Wabbit Crime Network merch. We got merch, y'all, at wethewabbits.com, the Wabbit store, online store. Check out the merch. Support the channel. We got merch, y'all. All right, so we are on to our next case. We are on to our next case. And how does it go, you say? Well, we are watching a parole board hearing where an inmate is up for parole and he's going to be interviewed by a panel of judges, and the judges will interview him and then decide whether or not they will grant parole or deny parole. Right before the judges make their vote, I will put a poll in the chat and give the audience 3 minutes to vote on whether or not they think the judges will grant parole in this case. When the 3 minutes is up, I will end the poll and read the results. And then I will play the video of the judges making their decision, and we're going to see if the audience and the judges were in line. Until then, I will be in the chat with everyone, and I'll be back when it's time to vote. So, let's go.
All right, we're back in session and we have before us Mr. David Warren. Mr. Warren, is that you? So you're on mute. They'll have to help. Somebody will have to help get him off of mute. There we go. So, Mr. Warren, could you introduce yourself to the parole panel? Tell us your name and your DOC number, please, sir.
My name is David Warren. My DOC number is
585-686. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Let me introduce the parole panel to you. My name is Cheryl Renatza, and I'll ask my colleagues to introduce themselves, starting with Mr. Roche.
My name is Alvin Roche.
And Mr. Jones.
Good morning. I'm Keith Jones.
All right, Mr. Warren, you should have in front of you that piece of paper is a parole revocation questionnaire. And sir, is that your signature at the bottom of that page dated February 5th of this year? Yeah, I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. I'm having difficulty hearing Mr. Warren. He doesn't appear to be on mute, but we can't hear him. Mr. Warren, is that your signature? All right, I'm gonna have to ask for some help because for some reason we're not hearing him. I mean, I see you saying yeah, but I need to be able to hear you also because we're recording, audio recording. Try it again. Yeah, still having the same issue. You can hear me okay, can you, Mr. Warren? Okay.
Natasha, can you hear me?
So there we go. Now I can hear you. Mr. Warren, is that your signature?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, now we got you. Okay, good deal. So, Mr. Warren, let me ask you some questions. Did you request appointed counsel at your preliminary hearing?
No, ma'am.
Okay. And so do you request appointed counsel today?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and proceed. We're here for a revocation decision. You've accused of violating the conditions of your parole. So I'm going to read the allegations against you, after which you'll enter a plea of guilty or not guilty. You can add a statement to either of those pleas, with or without a statement. And then I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Roche so he can have a discussion with you about the alleged violations. So let's get started. Condition number 2, you're accused of violating condition number 2. You have never submitted a monthly supervision report. How do you plead, guilty or not guilty?
Yep.
Okay. Condition number 3, you moved without permission and your whereabouts were unknown until your arrest on August 20th, 2019. How do you plead, guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
Okay. Condition number 4, on August 20th, 2019, you were arrested by the Slidell Police Department on a warrant issued by St. Tammany Parish Sheriff's Office for the offenses of domestic abuse, battery with child endangerment, and cruelty to juveniles that you committed on June 30th, 2019. On January 27th, 2020, you pled guilty to 2 counts of domestic abuse battery, and you were sentenced to 6 months parish jail with credit for time served.
Hold on one second. I'm about to switch video sources real quick.
Served. How do you plead to violating condition number 4?
Guilty.
Guilty. Condition number 9, you moved without permission and absconded supervision, making visits at your residence impossible. How do you plead? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
Did you say guilty? Okay. Condition number 10, you have made no payments and are in arrears $882. How do you plead, sir? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
Guilty. All right. I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Roche.
Good morning, Mr. Warren. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
Good. Would you like to make a statement on any of these, please?
The one where the third one was absconding without them knowing my whereabouts.
Yes.
I had got put out of my aunt's house, and I guess they came over there because they sent papers to my mother's house, but I didn't give them that address, but they sent parole papers to that address for me. And my mom had just moved there. So I'm trying to figure out how they knew where I was at. If I was, they didn't know my whereabouts, how they knew to send the parole papers to that house.
Okay. Let me ask you a question, Mr. Warren. You pleaded not guilty to number 3. You moved without permission and your whereabouts were unknown until you were arrested on August 20th, 2019. But condition number 9, you pled guilty to, you moved without permission, absconded supervision, and made visits to your residency impossible. Why plead not guilty to one and guilty to the other? They're basically the same thing.
It's basically the same thing, but I basically pleaded guilty to the part where I made to where they could find me hard. Because I should have let them know when I got put out, but I didn't.
I see that you understand the process. You just didn't follow through.
Yes, sir.
You've made no payments toward your supervision fees. Why?
When I was living with my aunt, I was giving her money to pay online, and I thought she was paying it, but I guess she wasn't. So that's why I pleaded guilty to that, because that was my mistake on taking it to make that, I should have been doing it myself instead of having somebody else.
Okay, last question. Why did you plead guilty to 2 counts of domestic abuse battery on your arrest on August 20th, 2019?
Because I figured that if I pleaded guilty to misdemeanor charges, because this is my first time ever catching a domestic. So I figured maybe if I pleaded guilty to the misdemeanor charges, I'll be set free. But I see now that that was a big mistake, and I should have fought the charge and went to trial and just let them know that it all was a lie from the beginning.
Did you have legal counsel at the legal proceedings?
I had a public defender, and he told me if I would have pleaded guilty to the misdemeanors, that it would have been, I could have got out.
And he didn't mention to you pleading to a violent misdemeanor is a revocable offense.
Yes, sir.
Are you aware of that now? Hey, thank you, Madam Chairman.
Mr. Jones?
I have no questions.
Okay. Mr. Warren, is there anything you'd like to say to us? Any additional information you can provide?
Only thing I'd like to say is thank y'all for the opportunity to plead my case and have the possibility of hopefully going home. I can't say too much about the situation because I really don't know what she told the people. Only that what I seen from the pictures that she had, there was no way that I did what she said I did. And I just want to thank y'all for this opportunity to plead my case to y'all. Like I said, hopefully going home.
Thank you, Mr. Warren. I think, is the panel prepared to vote?
Yes, we are, Madam Chairman.
My goodness. All right. Well, is the panel ready to vote? All right, guys, let's get ready to vote, man. I'm starting the timer. The poll is in the chat right now. Timer is started. Will the judges grant parole in this case? Man, you know what? I do have to point this out. I'm hearing it much too much. These public defenders and the parole officers is telling these people to plead guilty to these crimes. I've heard it so much from so much different inmates that I'm actually inclined to believe that at least one of them is telling the truth. And it's a failure in the justice and the legal system if these people who are officers of the law, basically they are proponents of the law, they uphold the law, enforce the law, for them to be given misinformation that could potentially get somebody locked up or spend more time in jail. This should be a crime. Also, how they get away with this, because it's a two-edged sword here. How they get away with this is ignorance of the law is not an excuse. However, but when your legal counsel, the person who knows the law, when they give you bad advice or bad information, they should be held accountable. Especially if they give you flat out wrong information. They should know to not do this again, because this is time that's added to people's life, that's taken away from their life, basically. You know, and if they didn't have to take that route, then they shouldn't have took that route. And the public defender or the lawyer, they should have gave them real advice. Now, the flip side to that is every guilty person that pled guilty that later on think they could beat the case is going to lie and say, my lawyer told me to plead guilty. So that's where we got the dilemma right here. Now, if the criminals realize there's a loophole where, you know, the lawyer could get blamed, then all the criminals are going to blame the lawyer. So I understand that they cannot go that route. They cannot go that route because it's actually easier to deal with the people who pled guilty because they were given wrong advice than to actually have a whole issue where you got a bunch of inmates saying the lawyer gave me bad information, so I want to press charges on the lawyer. Man, it's actually much easier to deal with it this way because the influx the other way will crumble the judicial system. We got 20 seconds left, y'all. Please check out the Wabbit store, Wabbit Crime Network merch at the Wabbit store. All right, so we are now on to our next case. Now, if you don't know how this works, let me break it down for you real quick. The inmates are up for parole. They are going in front of a panel of judges at the parole board, and the judges will interview them, and then the judges will vote and decide whether or not they will grant or deny parole. But before the judges make their vote, I will drop a poll in the chat and give the audience the opportunity to vote on whether or not they think the judges will grant or deny parole. The poll will be in the chat for 3 minutes, and then I will end the poll after 3 minutes and read the results of the audience, and then I will play the judges' results and see if the audience and the judges were in line. And until then, I will be in the chat with everyone else congregating until it's time for the judges to vote. Then I will be back. So let's go. We on to our next case.
So the Committee on Parole is reconvening at Rayburn Correctional Center. We're conducting our hearings this morning at Rayburn by Zoom technology to allow for observation and input by members of the public in response to the COVID-19 proclamation by Governor Edwards. Good morning, Miss. Would the staff at Rayburn please introduce yourself for the record?
My name is Carla Weed. I'm the Director of Classification.
Carolyn Thomas, Record Supervisor.
Warden Robert Tanner.
All right, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
And our first case this morning is Mr. Elsie. Well, is he with us?
Yes, ma'am.
Good morning. So let me introduce myself. My name is Cheryl Renatza. I'll ask my colleagues on the panel to introduce themselves, starting with Mr. Roche.
Good morning. I'm Alvin Roche.
Good morning.
Sorry about that, yeah.
Good morning, I'm Keith Jones.
And would the board staff who's participating introduce yourself? We'll start with Ms. Gale. Ms. Gayran, you want to introduce yourself for the record?
Yes, hi, I'm Gail Gayran. I'm with Crime Victim Services Bureau with Department of Corrections.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Other staff?
Teresa John.
Leah Roden.
John Poche. Francis Abbott.
All right, and I see that we have some folks here in support of Mr. Elsie. Miss Yvonne Elsie. Yes, go ahead.
You want me to announce everyone here?
Would you please?
Yes, ma'am. Case for Robert Elsie, DOC 556263. We have here in support this morning Mr. Reginald Elsie, who is the brother of the offender, along with Miss Yvonne. She is the mother, and she will speak on his behalf this morning. On another screen, you have Miss Debbie Elsie Brown, a sister, and another Miss Jamarius Jennings, also a sister. And then we have Miss Gail Gayran here, who will speak in place for the victim this morning, and that's it.
Okay, thank you so much. So good morning, everybody, and thank you all for participating in today's proceedings. Mr. Elsie, let me explain to you. I'm going to read some information into the record, and then we'll have a parole interview with you. I'll lead that interview since your case was assigned to me. My colleagues will have the opportunity also to ask questions if there's something that you and I didn't cover. We'll hear from your mother, who is the spokesperson on behalf of all the folks who are here in support. Then we'll also hear from the Crime Victim Services Bureau, Ms. Gayran, and then at the very end, we'll hear from Warden Tanner to hear what he has to say about your stay with his facility. And at the very end, you'll be allowed to make a statement before we reach a parole decision. Okay, do you understand the process?
Yes, ma'am.
So once again, if you would introduce yourself, tell us your name and DOC number.
My name is Robert H. Elsie Jr. DOC number is 556263.
All right, Mr. Elsie. So you are classified as a first felony offender. You were sentenced September 8, 2009 for a conviction of forcible rape. You received a 13-year sentence in the Department of Corrections. Your parole eligibility date is September 6, 2020. You don't earn good time because of the nature of your offense, and your full term date is August 18, 2022. Is that information correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So as I reviewed your record, Mr. Elsie, I noticed that you have been participating in some programs, but what concerned me is that you've only recently completed phase 1 of the sex offender treatment program. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you enrolled in that program now?
Yes, I'm correct. Currently enrolled. We was currently at the end of phase 2 when the COVID-19 pandemic started and they shut down the classes, which I probably would have completed all 3 phases by now if the classes had continued.
Right. So they've suspended the classes because of the COVID, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You need to be aware, and let me get to that page. You were how old at the time of this offense?
49.
And the victim in this offense was your girlfriend?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. As part of the process in preparing for a parole consideration hearing, we reach out to the community to determine their attitude and what their thoughts are about an early release. And in your case, we received opposition from the district attorney's office. We received opposition from the sheriff's office. We received opposition from the Ponchatoula Police Department. And so, there's nothing you can really do about that, Mr. Elsie. But tell us why you believe that we should grant you an early release.
Well, the reason I say that I deserve an early release is because the fact that at the time, this is more than just 11-year sentence that I've been on. It's been like 17 years. This took place in 2003. I was on bond for 6 years, and I ran for city councilman during that time against an incumbent and won that council seat, as well as became mayor pro tem. I have always served and been part of the community and doing positive things. And I say this because the fact that my family are all educators. My mother and my father raised 6 children, and we all are college educated, and we all have degrees, and 5 went into education and 1 went into the health service and became a nurse. They taught us to serve others, and that's what we have always done. And my own personal reason that I deserve this, because I am a first-time offender. And for 17 years that myself and my family have been dealing with this. And if I could be on bond for 6 years, I know I could be on parole for 2 years. And I just say that I deserve that opportunity. And I have shown that here at RCC with my behavior and all that I have participated in to make and show that I deserve opportunity to go home and be with my family and loved ones and have opportunity to give back to the community and give back to my family. I want to also say I'm very sorry to the victim and all that was involved in this conviction. I totally apologize for that because of my making a decision that wasn't part of me. And I just want to have the opportunity to get back to my mother, who is 88 years old, who have been traveling these highways and byways for 11 years. They show my love, they show love and support of me, and they have never wavered from me. So I truly know who is there to love and support me. You know, so
Well, I appreciate everything you said, Mr. Elsie. Let me tell you what concerns me. And I do show in the record the, the programs that you've participated in, a lot of faith-based programs and so forth. The lack of completion of sex offender treatment is what concerns me. I hear what you're saying about being on bond for 6 years, but when I look at the facts of the case and the violent nature of what happened and what's in the record, indicates that this is not the first time this happened, that this was a game that you and your co-defendant played, and it happened to numerous female victims. That's concerning to me. And lacking the sex offender therapy and treatment, I don't feel comfortable allowing you to do what you're asking us to do today. So with that said, I'm going to defer to my colleagues for their comments or questions. Mr. Roche?
Yes, I only have one question. Mr. Elsie, good morning.
good morning.
Is it not true that you were charged with 2 rapes and the second rape was no billed at the time that you were sentenced?
I'm not aware of me being charged of no 2 rapes, sir. Only rape that I'm familiar with being charged is the one that I'm currently doing time on now.
Okay.
And
at the time you were sentenced, there was a second rape that involved a 13-year-old girl that the DA no billed, which meant that you were not sentenced, but you were charged with that offense. Is that correct? Yes or no?
my answer to that is no, sir, because.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Madam Chairman?
Thank you, Mr. Roche. Mr. Jones?
I don't have any questions for Mr. Elsie.
Okay. Let's hear from Miss Yvonne Elsie. Ma'am, we'd like to hear from you.
I'm Yvonne Elsie. I'm Robert's mother. And I thank you all, grateful from the bottom of my heart for you having me to come and speak for my son, Robert. To me, Robert, he is special to the entire family. And we would love for him to be home with us, with the family. Through the years, we have gone to church each Sunday morning. He'll take me, he and I would go to Sunday school and church. And he was a member of the church. He was a trustee, and he paid his tithes and offerings and service to the church. And I'm asking y'all, please, please, let him come and be with his family again. And we appreciate so much for y'all's care and kindness and love and devotion that you have shown to him. And my entire family, we would love for him to be with us on holidays and with his family to show him the special love we have for him. We miss him so much. Every day, he would ask me, Mama, do you need anything? Or you want anything? Or do you need me to take you in place? And I was so appreciative of that. He kept my lawn mowed, and he would check with me on a 30 basis. And I remember my refrigerator had stopped overnight. The next morning, all my food and everything was ruined. And Robert came and he told me that he would purchase me another refrigerator. And he went and had a refrigerator delivered to my home. And I'm just so thankful and grateful for all his kindness and loving ways he has shown throughout.
Thank you, Miss Elsie. Thank you. Thank you so much. We do appreciate you participating with us this morning. We're going to ask at this time, we'll ask Warden Tanner for his input.
Yes, ma'am. Robert's, I hesitate to use the word model, but he's pretty close to a model prisoner in that he's participated in the programming. I'm a little concerned that he didn't get on to and start participating in the sex offender treatment program earlier in his stay. But he has participated in programming and served. At one point, we had a wellness program, and he was a facilitator in that program. I inquired with him as to why he didn't serve as an educator here. And he said that he felt like that there were guys that were capable of doing the job and that they needed the funds that they could earn by being an educator more than he. And so he allowed them that opportunity. I would just point out, you know, he will full term on August the 18th, 2022. You know, he has low Tiger scores, and supervision would allow the board the opportunity. His parole would allow the board the opportunity to release him with conditions that the board could monitor him a little bit better during that 2 years, I guess. Just a thought. Member of the inmate recognition program, good conduct record. I have no problems with Robert Elsie's institutional record. Other than
Thank you, Warden Tanner. We so appreciate your input. I think that Ms. Gayran will speak on behalf of the victim, Miss Jewel McCoy. Ms. Gayran?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, first of all, the victim did not want to appear on the video, but she asked that the offender be informed that he has caused a great deal of hurt to her and that she hopes that he realizes that. She said if he would be released, she'd like to request that Mr. Elsie have stipulations that he will have no personal contact with her, Also, that if they were ever end up in the same location, that he would immediately leave because she felt like this would be too traumatizing for her. And she just said, thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. We appreciate you representing Ms.
You're
McCoy.
welcome.
Mr. Elsie, is there a statement you'd like to make?
Yes, ma'am. Like I said, I'm very sorry for the incident. And I just want to say that the other perpetrator that was in this conviction and this crime, he has been released, went home, got arrested again, and been released. And so I understand, what was said or what's in the minutes. My only regret, I didn't testify, and I should have. And I think this would have, I probably wouldn't be where I'm at today. But because of that fact, and like I said, I'm learning about information that I totally wasn't aware of. I'm sorry that, things are being said or put into my jacket that I have never been told of. And I regret, like I said, I regret that my mother has to come out during this COVID-19 and speak on my behalf. And I regret the fact that I have hurt people that had a lot of trust in me. And I just want to say that, and I'm truly asking, I'm begging to just give me an opportunity to come back to my family and to my community. And I promise you, y'all will never see my face on this side of the camera again. And I regret that I have to come to this now, because we weren't raised that way. We were raised to serve and help others. And that's what I did all my adult life. And like I said, I know things are put in there about some games we played and all that, but that's not so. But I don't want to go through that. And like I said, I just pray and ask that you all will give me an opportunity for these 2 years. It's not but 2 years. And whatever stipulations Jill want, I don't mind, going through those stipulations on her behalf. I would do what it takes. Just give me an opportunity. That's all I ask. And I try to do everything I could while I was behind this fence to show other guys doing the right thing. You'll have an opportunity and hope of coming up out of here. I've been that model. And to send me back down that walk with a denial, a lot of guys are going to be hurt. A lot of security guards are going to be hurt. I'm just asking. And with that, that's all I can ask. Give me an
Let
opportunity.
me ask you one more question, Mr. Elsie.
Yes, ma'am.
We mentioned and we talked about your participation in sex offender class, and you completed phase 1 in 2019, I believe, December. Was it 2019?
Yes, ma'am.
Why did you wait so long to do that?
And the reason I waited, because at the time I was appealing my case. And by me appealing my case, I had talked to my attorney. He just said, well, don't worry about it right now. But my attorney ended up dying. Mr. Duncan Kemp, he ended up dying. And I got another attorney. And you know how that goes when you change attorneys, kind of like changing horses in the middle of the river. And that didn't turn out. So the person then, put the effort in. But I have never tried to avoid that. I never thought that if I thought that class would kept me from going home, yeah, I would have taken it. Nobody told me it was mandatory. Nobody told me that I had to definitely take this class in order to be paroled. I was never told that. But I still took classes, and without even receiving good time for them, and so that's the reason there was a delay, because I had an attorney appealing my case. And like I said, that attorney ended up passing, and I ended up getting another attorney, and that didn't phase
Okay.
out. So,
All right. I get it.
yes,
I
ma'am.
understand. I understand. Is the panel prepared to vote?
Yes.
Man, Alvin Roche, he was waiting to say yes. He was waiting to say yes, yo. Let me start this. Poll is in the chat. The timer has started. This guy is a scumbag. Listen, this is my opinion. This is my opinion. I don't know this guy, and this is just my opinion based on the brief instance of what I see. This guy is a scumbag. Okay, like this guy ain't apologized to the victims yet. He don't regret nothing to do with the victims yet. Everything he regrets has to do with his mother and his family and how he was raised. He don't regret nothing that he's done to any of these victims. This man is complete. It's almost like he's oblivious to it. And then he points out his co-defendant got out of jail, came back into jail, got out of jail again. And like, bro, that just shows that your part to play in the crime probably was so much more deeper than his. But even he's a career criminal because after this, you tell me he still got locked back up. Birds of a feather. If they was to let you out, you probably would get locked back up. Now, I'll say this. This man got 13 years sentence, which I feel is light. Because anytime a grown man messing with little girls, no. 13 years, let him do his 13. Let him do his 13. First of all, it ain't a long enough time anyway, so let him just do the 13. Let him max out. This guy, did he say that the security guards will be hurt? What do you mean? Like, what? This dude is completely oblivious to reality. He said that he didn't know that you had to take the classes in order to go home. No, brother. No, sir. Those classes ain't for you to go home, sir. Those classes is so that you could understand what you did was wrong. Understanding it. Getting a clear clarification and fully understanding in your heart and soul why it's wrong. Why it was wrong. Why those things, like you it's not just to go home. No. Even if you was gonna die in jail, you should still take those classes because what you did was wrong, and that mindset that made you get there, it needs to be checked. And you need to realize and get it in your brain how egregious what you did was. Because this man still don't get it. He doesn't get it. And too bad they can't extend his time. My goodness, you hear this guy? We got 10 seconds left to vote. Nightbot is also putting a link in the chat for the store. If you guys want to visit and see what's going on. We do have discounts and holiday savings right now. We got some sales going on with promo codes. So check those out. Now, on to our next case. How does this go? Well, we are at a parole board hearing, and the inmate is up for parole, and he's going to be interviewed by a panel of judges who's going to vote and decide whether or not they're going to grant or deny parole. So before the judges vote, I will pause the video and put a poll in the chat and allow the people to vote on whether or not they think the judges will grant or deny parole in this case. The poll will be in the chat for 3 minutes. And after the 3 minutes is up, I will then end the poll and read the results of the audience. After that, I will play the judges' results, and we will see if the judges and the audience was in line. Until then, I will be in the chat with everyone else until it's time for the judges to vote.
There he is. I'll let,
Ms. Renatson?
yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, this is the case for Lon Washington, DOC number 362622. We have 3 people here in support this morning. Speaking on his behalf will be his mom, Miss Regina Sturkey, and his 2 sisters are here also in support, Kimberly Washington and Miss Nicole Guy.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Let me introduce the parole panel to you. My name is Cheryl Renatz. I'm serving as chairman of today's panel, and my colleagues will introduce themselves to you. Mr. Roche.
Good morning. My name is Alvin Roche.
Good morning. I'm Keith Jones.
All right. We want to thank y'all for being here with us today and participating in today's proceedings. So we have before us Mr. Lon Washington. Mr. Washington, will you introduce yourself to the panel? Tell us your name and DOC number.
Good morning. My name is Lon Washington, DOC number 362622.
All right. So the way this is going to work, and I know you're familiar with the process, Mr. Washington, because you appeared before the parole board back in 2016, didn't you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so for the benefit of your family, let me just tell them how it's going to go. I will read some identifying information into the record. I'll ask Mr. Washington to verify that information, and then we'll conduct a parole interview with him. And his case has been assigned to Mr. Jones. So Mr. Jones will take the lead in the interview. Mr. Roche and I will be afforded the opportunity to ask him some questions if there's a question that comes to mind that wasn't covered in the interview with Mr. Jones. After that, we'll hear from Ms. Starkey and hear what she has to say or wants us to know, and then we'll ask Warden Tanner for his input. At the very end, Mr. Washington will be allowed to make a statement before we reach a parole decision. Okay, so let's get started, Mr. Washington. So you are Lon Washington, DOC number 362622. You're classified as a second felony offender. You were sentenced November 26, 1997 in Orleans Parish for armed robbery. You received a 50-year sentence, and then as a habitual offender on November 26, 1997, armed robbery, 1 count, 50-year sentence. Excuse me, on that previous conviction, it was 3 counts of armed robbery. Those sentences are running together concurrently, so the total DOC time is 50 years. Your parole eligibility date was determined to be February 5th, 2017. You don't earn good time, and your full term date is November 13th, 2046. Is that information correct, Mr. Washington?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm gonna turn it over to Mr. Jones.
Good morning, Mr. Washington.
Good morning.
Tell the board, if you would, what the circumstances were in your life that led you to commit these crimes.
Well, thank you. Being out on the streets, and young, I had a lot of guys that looked up to me, and in the process, I led some of those down the wrong path. You know, I had people that was within their families that was, I guided to the right spots within their life. But when it came down to me teaching the other guys who was out there on the streets, not doing what they're supposed to, I didn't do an adequate job. Now, I have strayed some of them.
Mr. Washington, stop for a second.
Yes, sir.
I didn't ask you what kind of a leader you were, and I didn't ask you what kind of path you took people who followed you. I'm asking you, what led you to do this? I'm not asking how you led others. Tell me what circumstances, or people for that matter, led you to commit a series of crimes.
Okay. I was in an area, a crime-infested area, and in the process of me being in that area, I had to be around that. So I kind of picked up on things that was wrong that I shouldn't did. And by me not knowing the system back then, but me being young, it strayed me from what I should have been doing instead of doing what I should be doing.
All right, now I'm a little confused. You refer to not knowing the system. What system is it you didn't know?
The criminal court procedures, just the law in general, because I wasn't taught certain things about the law, and I didn't know about the criminal justice system. So everything was by choice and by chance. And when I say chance, by me not knowing, I didn't follow up like I supposed to.
Yeah. Well, which of your crimes did you commit without knowing there was anything wrong about it? Because I'm looking at the illegal possession of stolen things, and maybe if you say you didn't know they were stolen, that's one thing. But armed robbery, you didn't think that was wrong to do it, or against the law for that matter?
Yes, sir, I did. That I did know about.
Yeah. And so what led you to commit armed robbery, for example? And don't tell me you didn't know the system.
No, sir, it wasn't that. It's just the fact that I wasn't one of the ones that actually pulled the gun on nobody. And, so I was still wrong, but I wasn't that person. Because my nature is not to harm or make harm to anybody, but I was a part of that, and I am no better than the next person. So I didn't actually have a gun in my hand, but I was in the car.
Yeah. Well, so I give you a pass on the armed part. What about the robbery part?
Well, the robbery part was the guy had the car, and we were joyriding and having fun, supposedly having fun, when I knew better than riding in the stolen car.
Matter of fact, you had a set of keys made for it, right?
I'm sorry, I don't know that part.
Well, I was looking in the record here. Well, let's go somewhere else. Tell me what programs you have taken with special emphasis on the ones that you thought you got the most out
of. The JCs, Junior Chamber of Commerce, I've learned a lot because when when I came to jail, I had low self-esteem, and the JCs automatically taught me how to build your self-esteem up and to be confident. I took.
Go ahead.
I took Crimeaholics, step study. I took anger management, life skills. You know, all these things benefited me because it showed me a better life and how to be a better life and how to be responsible. It's just like substance abuse. You know, even though I didn't have a substance abuse problem, they always told me you don't have to have a substance abuse problem because it deals with life.
Right. Crimeaholics is a group that follows a 12-step program.
Yes.
Okay. How about Thinking for a Change?
Yes, sir. I have taken. Nope. I'm sorry. I don't think I've taken Think for a Change. No, sir. That was something that was brought up within the last few years. I haven't been put on that call out.
Did you ask to be put on that call out?
No, sir.
Well, how likely is it they're going to put you on that call out if you don't ask to do it?
Yes, you're right about that.
What about write-ups?
Well,
you have one of my colleagues noticed, and I had noticed this, that you have a couple write-ups since your last parole board hearing.
Yes, sir, I do. Yes, I do.
And you knew from that hearing, I bet, how important it is not to have write-ups.
Yes, sir.
Nevertheless, you did. You have any explanation?
Well,
it wasn't because you didn't know the system, I bet.
No, sir. No, it did not. It wasn't like I didn't know the system, but when it came down to that part on one of the write-ups, I didn't have an excuse for it. You know, I should have known better because I've learned a lot more, and I've become a leader in here. But at the same time, you know, I slipped, and it was and nothing I can say that can, you know, bring light to that because it was done not on the purpose that to bring harm or to bring wrong to anybody, but it was just something that came up on my aspect, and that I have apologized to the officers and to the institute and to anybody else that needed to be. I apologize to that for that incident.
Which write-up you're talking about, Mr. Washington?
That was the write-up in 2017, in December of 2017.
The 21C?
Yes, sir.
Warden Tanner.
Yes, sir.
Could we hear from you, please, sir?
He has participated in a lot of programs, but I just have some concerns about his conduct record. I noticed that he's had at least three, looks like maybe three, maybe four aggravated sex offense write-ups. I asked him about he has taken enrolled in the sex offender treatment program and has completed as much of it as he can, being that he doesn't have street charges for sex offenses. But he has received that last write-up was a sex offense write-up, and that's been since his treatment. You know, he's Lon, you are a member of the inmate recognition program.
Yes.
Yes, sir. He is a member of our inmate recognition program called PRESS. Participates in the clubs. Been a few years without a write-up. But I just have some concerns about Lon.
Yes, sir. Mr. Washington, what is your job there?
Right now, I don't have a job. It's field crew, and I just help out where needed at. You know, during this pandemic, they've been using me to help out in different areas that I have experience at, but I don't have a official job on my status.
Okay. Do you have, are you a trustee?
No, sir.
But you have trustees there, right?
Yes, we do.
Have you ever been a trustee?
No, sir.
What do you attribute that to?
I have too much time.
Okay.
That would be right. His full term date would prevent him from being a trustee.
Okay, thank you, Warden. And thank you for your contributions a minute ago, Warden.
Yes,
so if you were paroled, Mr. Washington, what do you think you'd do for a living?
I have a skill in welding, and that was one of the areas I wanted to go in, and that was welding. You know, I used to be a welding tutor back then. You know, in 2016 and 17, I was a tutor. So that was something that I wanted to attribute back in society, was my welding skill.
Okay. Where did you learn welding?
Here at RCC.
Okay. Are there certifications for welding that you can get?
Yes.
You have any of those?
Yes, sir, I do.
What certification?
NCCER. It's a training course that certifies you for knowing all the welding safety laws and things of that sort. And I have that.
Okay, good. When did you get that?
I received that in 2000, and if I'm not mistaken, 2014.
All right, good. What about formal education? Do you have a high school diploma or a GED?
I have a high school diploma. I graduated from Abramson High School in New Orleans in 1993.
Okay. Did you ever try to get any college credit?
Yes, sir. I went to Southern University for about a year before this charge had happened in New Orleans.
How'd you like it?
Oh, I loved it.
If you were released on parole, where would you live, Mr. Washington?
I'll be staying in Slidell, Louisiana.
With
my sister.
Okay. Have you or has anyone made any inquiries about welding jobs there?
There is a yes, I have. Yes, I have. Excuse me, sir. There is a company. It is under the David Glass family in Madisonville, and I was planning on I think it's called All Corps or something like that. But I was going to go there to submit an application because we try to go online to get one, but for some reason they can't pull it up online. They don't have applications available online.
Okay. All right, Mr. Washington, thank you. I think that's all the questions I have.
Well, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Mr. Roche?
Madam Chairman, Mr. Jones conducted a very comprehensive interview. I have no questions.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. So the sister you mentioned is Miss Daly?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And it's Arcosa Marine.
Arco, that's it. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So I think, is it Miss Washington that's going to be the spokesman for the family support? If so, we'd like to hear from the family at this time.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm not sure if Miss Regina wanted to speak. If not, I'm more than prepared to go ahead and say a few words. I can't hear you.
We can't.
I can't.
I got it. I'm going to ask Miss Roten of our staff who indicated they were going to be the spokesperson. I can't see it on my screen.
We have the list here, Mr. Renata. 1 second. She's not on the screen. We turned her video off. The speaker is Miss
Durkee, but she's not on the screen at all.
Miss Regina Durkee, Miss Renata, but I think she lost her.
I did have her listed, but I don't see her. So we'll go ahead with you, Miss Washington. Go ahead and tell us what you'd like us to know.
Good morning, and thank you for the opportunity to speak before you today. I'm one of Lon Washington's sisters, and I just want to begin by thanking the members of the parole board for making this opportunity to speak on my brother's behalf available, especially during these unprecedented times. As most of us do, Lon made a mistake early in his adult life, but over the years, he has grown immensely, spiritually and mentally. The past 2 decades have given him a lot of time to reflect, and I know that he has accepted responsibility for his actions and is beyond remorseful. He has missed out on the opportunity to raise his daughter, to be at his grandmother Roberta Kennedy's side while she suffered from the ravages of a debilitating stroke, and to comfort his family after the untimely death of his brother. He has also been unable to participate fully in the lives of his nieces and young granddaughter. We are taught that the prison system is meant to be a place where people pay their debt to society, are rehabilitated, and then rejoin the community as productive members. Lon has repaid his debt and is ready to make that next step. He has the unwavering commitment of his family. Our sister Keisha Daly has secured gainful employment and housing for Lon, and we are all dedicated to providing the emotional and financial support that he needs to ensure his success. Therefore, we humbly implore you to consider Lon Washington for parole eligibility. Thank you.
Thank you. Well done. I don't know that we've mentioned to you, Mr. Washington, in the record, we do have opposition that comes from the district attorney's office. We have a letter in the record saying that office is opposed to any reduction of sentence or early release for Lon Washington. It's based on your criminal record as an adult that includes several convictions of crimes of violence, your status as a habitual offender, and a history of revocation. Just so you know, that's something that you need to be aware of. Is there a statement you'd like to make to us?
Yes.
All right, now's your time.
I want to thank the board for having their time, spending their time to review my case, amongst this crisis we have. And I want to thank y'all, I like to say that my time being here has inspired me to do better, to be better. When I became an inmate at WCI, I had low self-esteem, but now I do not. I have high self-esteem. There's a lot of things about me that I want to go on, but I can't. So what I can say is that I couldn't be right here talking to you all the way I am now when I was first got locked up, because it was the low self-esteem. So, the JCs have built me up to maybe become a leader. I have every position that I had in the JCs that was available, that I achieved. I am exhausted rooster now, so I can only step aside and just help out. Hey, what can I say? But, I have grown. I am sorry for the things that I've done. I am truly blessed to have the family support and friends that I have. You know, I work around these officers a lot here at RCC, you know, because they help me to prosper, to grow. You know, some of them don't want to see me go because my work ethics. You know, I have good, perfect work ethics, but they, you know, they want to see me prosper and they don't want to see me do it in here by spending the rest of my life in here. So with that said, you know, the board decides to let me go. This is to be my rebirth back into society, to teach, to learn, and to contribute to society in any way that I can. And with that, thank you.
Well, you've given that some thought. You have mixed reviews from your multiple victims. Some of them they could not reach, they couldn't find them. A couple say they're unopposed, but there's one who is adamantly opposed, saying Mr. Washington will continue to commit crimes and be a danger to society if he was released. He put a gun to my head and stole my jewelry and purse. How would you respond to that? I know you can't speak to your victims, but if you could, what would you say to your victims? You hadn't mentioned them at all today.
No, ma'am, I didn't. And like I said, you know, once that I'm sorry about what I have done to these people. And if I could say anything to them, is to please have it in their heart to forgive me through the grace of God, because I didn't mean to have any harm or cause them any harm for them, for their family, for nothing, for anybody, you know. And I am truly sorry. I have learned my lesson. And there's no more of this going back towards me. Everything from here now forward, is all positive. I can't go back. I can't afford to go back. I'm too old to go back. Everything has to go and grow. And I have family. I have grandbabies. Since I missed the life of my daughter, I have grandbabies now. I have to keep to teach, you know, to make sure that they prosper. So I implore to them, if I could speak to them, that they would just go it on and hear my plea wholeheartedly and let me be released. And with that, I'm done.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir. Is the panel prepared to vote? Mr. Jones?
Yes.
All right. With that, is the panel ready to vote? Man, listen. Put the poll in the chat. Start the timer. Really? Really, guy? This guy's not remorseful. He's not showing any remorse. All that sorry he's talking about ain't because he's remorseful. He definitely don't think he needed to do all this time for sure. These answers he's giving is crazy. He sounds very ill prepared. I don't know if it's narcissistic or what, but you keep talking about him and him being a leader and him being like, it's almost like he doesn't understand that he's supposed to be able to acknowledge what he did was whatever he did wrong and show the steps he took to learn that and understand that and what steps he took to make sure he won't ever be in that situation again or those situations, and to even understand his mindset at the time. And I think that this guy is like, man, I did what I had to do. I was doing what I had to do around the people that I was around and the environment that I was around in. And it's really not my fault. If you was there, you probably would have did the same thing. Like, it sounds like he's not really taking full responsibility completely. I think they're gonna deny him. And his support, the way they talking. I didn't. The way she was talking is almost like, you know, he did enough time and he needs to come home, and it's like, well, he don't sound like it though, and she's speaking for him with such you know, like conviction. You know, like, so then he said that the people that did the crime with him, they was the ones who really did it. He ain't really do that much. Then you come to hear he actually put a gun to a woman's head and took her purse. So, bro, and he didn't even really go into it. He just was like, well, I just hope that they forgive me. And like, come on. All right, we got 30 seconds left. This guy is something else. He's something else. All right. All right. Time is up. Gonna end the poll right now. All right, and the poll is ended. We got 14 votes. Will the judges grant parole in this case? 85% of the people said no. 14% said yes. So let's see. The majority of the voters think that it's going to be no. Judges?
Mr. Washington, you've done an awful lot of good things in your time there. I see your press hat, and Warden Tanner talked about that. And you have lots to be proud of. But I share Warden Tanner's concern about your disciplinary record. You have serious offenses and a variety of them. Frankly, you know, it's not, if you've been caught with a cell phone 10 times, that's one thing, but your disciplinary record is more diverse and more troubling than that to me. I would like two things. Number one, I would like for you to be diligent. You have been diligent about learning to express yourself, learning to have self-confidence, and those are learned things. And I respect that and admire it in you. I need you to learn to be diligent in following all the rules. Number two, I want you to think a little more carefully than you have about what it is how it is you came to commit the crimes you did and wind up where you are. And because I was very concerned about the answer you gave to that question. You didn't know the system, the criminal law system, and when you think about this, you'll see that that's the kind of answer that gives me more fear than confidence that it won't happen again. My vote is going to be to deny your parole. If you are denied, I encourage you to follow every rule and make sure you don't get any write-ups and reapply when you can and present a little bit better picture to us. But good luck to you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate your vote.
Mr. Roche.
Mr. Washington, I served on your panel on May 24th, 2016. You were denied because of victim opposition, law enforcement opposition, and disciplinary conduct. You can't do anything about opposition. It's going to be there. And I can overlook opposition because it's always going to be there. But I'm very disappointed because I remember speaking with you about your disciplinary conduct. And you've had 2 major write-ups since that last hearing. A total of 55 write-ups in 23 years. That is unacceptable. Primarily because of your disciplinary conduct and the quality of write-ups that you had in 23 years. My vote is to deny your request.
Mr. Washington, I do agree with everything my colleagues have said. You presented very well today. I too share the concern that Mr. Jones had about your response to what led you to your life of crime, because your crimes started as a juvenile, the same types of crimes, theft and all that kind of stuff. So you need to do some reflecting on that. But also, I listened to what Warden Tanner said about your conduct record. Mr. Roche's mentioned the write-up since the last hearing, which is disappointing, but I am a little concerned about it too. So I will concur with my colleagues, and my vote also will be to deny. However, heed Mr. Jones's advice. Be diligent in following the rules. Reapply when you're eligible to do so. It doesn't take, you don't have to wait 4 years.
Yes, ma'am.
Reapply as soon as you're eligible to do so. Keep your conduct record clean in the meantime, and you may have a different outcome. But today you've received a unanimous vote to deny your parole. We look forward to seeing you as soon as you can reapply. Family, thank y'all so much for participating today. We appreciate you taking the time to be with us.
Excuse me, this is Lion's mother. And I guess because we haven't about to have bad weather, I was knocked out. Is it possible I can say something?
Well, we've already rendered our decision, and Miss Kimberly Washington did a beautiful job of representing the family.
Yes,
I'm sorry we lost you along the way.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, I'll call you back up to my office in a little while, okay?
All right.
Yikes.
Call me later, Lon.
Man. She is upset. She didn't get her chance to speak. She didn't get her chance to get her part out. Man. I know she's upset. All right, we got through that one. That one was a interesting one. He was an interesting character. We're about to be on to our next one. Thank you, everybody, for support. Your support. This interaction is very much needed for this to go well. And we are on to our next case. Now, if you guys want to support the page, you can always support the page through the super chats, the cash apps at Wabbit Crime wabicrimenetwork.com, PayPal. You can get a membership, and you can also support the Wabbit Crime Network by getting some merch out of We the Wabbit store online, where the Wabbits got merch over there for the Wabbit Crime Network. Nightbot is also putting the link in the chat for the store, and also all the other links for all my other stuff. So we do have the Wabbit Crime Network Discord. Please don't forget to join the Discord. Anybody can join the Discord. However, if you're a member on this page, you will have exclusive access to the rooms where we stream live trials, where every day we while the trials are actually going on, Monday through Friday, we stream trials, live trials. Right now we're streaming the YSL trials, so you can come into the Discord and watch the live trials as they're happening, and even have a conversation or two with somebody in the Discord. So it's very interactive. If you want to just get some information about crimes, content, cold case files, updates on current events, dealing with stuff, we got all of that in the Discord. So check out all the different Wabbit Crime Network things we got going on. So now we are at a parole board hearing. The inmate is up for parole, and he will be seen in front of a panel of judges who will interview and then vote whether or not they will grant or deny parole. Now, right before the judges vote, I will put a poll in the chat for 3 minutes and let the audience vote whether or not they think the judges will grant or deny parole. After I end the poll and read the results from the audience, I will play the judges' results and see if the audience and the judges was in line. Until then, I will be in the chat with everyone else, and I'll be back when the judges are ready to vote.
Ms. Renatzo?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. This is a case for Gregory Walter, DOC number 420060. We have one participant here, Ms. Dakota Moore. She's the victim, and she'll be speaking in opposition.
Okay. Well, welcome everybody. Good morning. My name is Cheryl Renatz. I'm serving as chair of today's parole panel. My colleagues on the panel will introduce themselves, starting with Mr. Roche.
Good morning. My name is Alvin Roche.
Good morning. I'm Keith Jones.
And our case is that of Mr. Gregory Walters. Sir, would you introduce yourself to the parole panel? Tell us your name and DOC number.
Greg Walters. My DOC number is 420060.
All right, and let me explain the process of how this will go today. I will read some identifying information into the record, and after that, Mr. Walters, I'll ask you to verify that information. Then we will conduct a parole interview with you, and Mr. Roche will take the lead on that interview. If Mr. Jones or I have any additional questions, we'll do that when he concludes his interview. Then we'll hear from Warden Tanner, get his input and let him tell us about your stay with him. And then we'll ask Ms. Moore for her remarks. At the very end, you'll be allowed to make a statement before we reach a parole decision.
Yes.
Okay, so let's get started. You are Gregory J. Walters. Your DOC number is 420060. You are classified as a first felony offender. You were sentenced on September 8th, 2016 for molestation of a juvenile. You received a 20-year sentence. Your parole eligibility date is August 23rd, 2020. You are not eligible to earn good time, and your full term date is December 26, 2033. Is that information correct, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm gonna turn it over to Mr. Roche.
Good morning, Mr. Walters. How are you?
I'm doing fine.
Good. Mr. Walters, you're 49 years old, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
And you were about 42 at the time of the offense, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And you are classified as a first felony offender, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Tell me, first of all, let's get this out of the way. I understand from your records you have completed all 4 phases of the Madison sex offender treatment, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And tell me, what did you get from that program, and what facets of that program will you practice throughout the rest of your life?
Can you repeat that?
Okay, tell me the important things you got from that program, and what practices will you follow the rest of your life as a result of that program?
I got that no person deserves that kind of abuse. That no woman deserves that. That I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm not a big talker.
Well, I think it would be to your benefit if you would answer our questions today.
Okay. What I got out of it is I don't understand exactly what you're asking.
Okay. I'm asking, what did you get from the program, and what practices are you going to follow the result of the program?
I'm gonna continue to stay in that class, follow up on that class and continue and try to help people that needs help with abuse, that kind of classes, all that I can. And what I got out of it was, like I said, no person should have to go through that. And when a person says no, it means no.
Thank you. Tell me about the other programs that you completed in the last 6.5 years.
The other classes?
Yes.
Yeah, like living in balance, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Yes. What other classes have you completed?
I have living in balance, syrup, my CDL, what is that one? The one in the gym, pre-release.
Anger management.
And my AA.
100 hours pre-release.
Sir?
100 hours pre-release.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Tell me why, in according to your master record, you had an 8th grade education when you entered incarceration. You were in the GED program and you dropped out in March of 2018. Tell me why.
I went back to try to get my GED to try to better myself. So when I did get out, I could try to better myself, but I'm not trying to be a smart butt or nothing, but I don't comprehend as fast and pick up as fast as other people do. I don't have book sense. I've got common sense. I can go out and get a job just about anywhere. And but I just can't pick it up. The book sense. I can't do it.
Uh, that meant you had to work a little harder,
Yes, sir.
but instead you dropped out.
Yes, sir.
Have you ever been diagnosed with dyslexia?
No, sir. I haven't. Never went and had it checked.
Okay, okay. Uh, Tell me about your disciplinary issues since you've been incarcerated.
Which one?
How many disciplinary write-ups do you
Oh,
have?
I'm sorry. None.
So basically, you have no disciplinary write-ups in 6.5 years.
No, sir.
Great. What is your job at the facility before the COVID virus?
I am a sewing machine operator.
Okay, you work in the garment factory.
I work in the laundry. They have sewing machines in here.
Okay, so you mend and repair clothing.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And are you a trustee?
No, sir.
By virtue of all your time and your offense, you probably could not be a trustee.
Yes, sir.
Tell me what your transition plan is. Where do you plan to work? Where do you plan to live?
Where do I plan on working? Well, I would like to get back around Monroe, Louisiana, and I would like to start back driving a truck again. That's what I was doing before I got incarcerated.
Have you put any feelers out? Has your family put any feelers out to see whether or not you have employment in the area in which you're going to live?
Truck driving job.
Oh, no, sir.
Okay, where do you plan to live?
And I'm hoping right around Monroe, Louisiana.
Okay, and who do you plan to live with?
I don't have a place right now.
You do realize even if you were paroled today, you would not get released until probation and parole approves a residency.
Yes, sir.
And in your case, it's going to be very difficult because you can't live around schools, churches, playgrounds, daycare centers. You can't live within a certain distance of any location that is frequent.
Current location is less than a half mile.
Excuse me, that was Siri answered my question.
I'm not sure I understand.
Okay, and even to zoos, anywhere a child is frequent, you cannot live with a certain distance.
Yes,
so I would start working on that simply because it's going to be difficult.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, tell us today why we should vote to release you early when your daughter is still emotionally affected by the sexual abuse by biological father.
Because I'm very sorry, and if I could speak to her, I would tell her how sorry I am, and I'm gonna be a better person. I wished I would have been a better dad when I was out there. this place has really made me stop and think and realize just how bad of a dad I was. And I just, if I could do it all over again, I would do it different.
Thank you. Just to inform you that you have expressed opposition from the judge, from the DA's office, from the sheriff's office, the chief of police. The mother of the victim is adamantly opposed, and the victim herself is vehemently opposed. She wrote a very long statement saying that she is opposed to any release for the individual that sexually abused her. You can't do anything about opposition, but you need to know that it plays a factor in our decision.
Yes, sir.
Madam Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Roche. Mr. Jones?
Good afternoon, Mr. Walters.
Good afternoon.
You talked about being a bad dad.
Yes, sir.
Raping your 13-year-old daughter is kind of the opposite of being a good dad. Wouldn't you say? Like the ultimate bad dad?
Yes.
You have any other children?
Yes, sir. I have 2 other girls.
What's your relationship like with them?
They're good.
We don't see them on the screen.
No, sir.
So they didn't take the time to appear in support of your parole application.
No, sir.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know.
In your answers to Mr. Roche's questions, you made reference to, quote, my AA. You recall that?
Yes, sir.
Tell me what you were talking about.
You talking about my AA?
I mean, that was the term you used about things you were doing, and I think you said my AA. Did you not say that?
I don't recall it. I had took an AA meeting.
Okay.
The class AA.
Okay. Have you reached the conclusion that you may have a drinking problem?
Yes, sir.
And what led you to think that?
People got where they didn't like being around me. But I didn't realize it until I got in here.
So the DWIs you got, that wasn't a hint to you?
Yes, sir.
How many did you get?
3.
Third DWI, it never occurred to you, maybe I've lost control of this. Maybe I should consider not doing this anymore. You didn't think about that?
No, sir.
This is just me, but how somebody with 3 DWIs can get a job being a truck driver just baffles me. I don't get it. But tell me something you learned in the AA class you went to.
Don't drink and drive. It's not good for you. You could get out there and kill or be killed. Ever get behind the wheel while you're driving, drinking?
Interesting. I've been to hundreds of AA meetings, hundreds of them. I have never heard anybody say in an AA meeting, don't drink and drive. What they say in AA meetings is, don't drink. People there have gotten their lives in a position where they are resolved to not drink, not just don't drink and drive. Drinking's okay for you, huh?
No, sir, not no more.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Well, you're in prison, harder to drink in there. We'll see what happens. Mr. Roche asked you about getting a GED, and here's how it works with the parole board. We want inmates to pursue their education if they can, and we want men to get their GEDs, men and women to get their GEDs if they can. If they can't, then one of the education professionals can be brought in to evaluate them and give us a report that says that that inmate is not capable of getting the GED, whether for a learning disability or simply a low IQ. They'll tell us that, and we'll have that in our record, and we can have that to look at instead of an inmate telling us that he just doesn't have book sense. So I would strongly encourage you, if you don't get parole today, to try again, because we really do look hard at that.
Yes, sir.
Try again to get your GED, and if you can't, ask for help. Eventually, one or two things will happen. Either you'll get it, or somebody will tell us why you can't, and that's important for our records. Okay.
All righty.
And that's all the questions I have for you, Mr. Walters.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Mr. Walters, I do have a couple of questions. Did you plead guilty to this offense?
Yes, ma'am.
And that was part of a plea agreement, wasn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
And as part of that plea agreement, you were to serve 20 years. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
And so why do you just tell me once again? I know you gave Mr. Roche an answer. Tell us once again why you believe that now we should grant you early release, or earlier than that 20-year sentence that you agreed to.
Because I've changed. Trying to be a better person, a better man. I want to do better. I really do.
Okay.
I'm so sorry for what I did. I am. I know I can't take it back, but I would like to, and I'm sorry.
Okay. So you also mentioned to Mr. Roche, one of the takeaways that you had from the sex offender treatment classes was no woman deserves that, I think is what you said. And so how old was the victim at the time of the crime?
13.
12 or 13?
13, I think.
Okay. And would you consider that to be a child?
Yes, ma'am.
So do I. We also talked earlier about, or I listened to Mr. Roche tell you about the opposition, and this is what the DA said. The district attorney, and this is in Caddo Parish, is opposed to the parole of Mr. Walters. The criminal committed the crime of molestation of a juvenile. He has a history of molestation of other juveniles. If he were released on parole, he would be a continual threat to our community. To allow his parole would deprecate the severity of the crime committed. How do you feel about those remarks?
I don't see how they can say that about me when this is my first conviction. I don't see where they've got other evidence to say this. And I feel like that it's not right that they accused me of something that I didn't do. Of all of these other ones that they're saying I was supposed to have done.
Okay. Well, our records indicate that there were other people that came forward and spoke about their experiences. So I'll just leave it at that. So let's hear from Warden Tanner. Warden Tanner, can we hear from you now?
Yes, ma'am. While Gregory has not been a institutional problem with his disciplinary record. And by the way, he did have one write-up. He said he didn't have any, but he had a theft write-up in 2017. I have to give him credit where credit's due. He is a member of a inmate recognition program. As he mentioned, he is maintaining a job in the laundry as a sewing machine operator. But I do have my concerns, as you pointed out, his reference to no woman should be treated like that. I also made note of the fact that he claimed no means no. And a 13-year-old should never be put in a position to have to say no.
Right.
That concerns me as well. I'm also concerned at the fact that he dropped out of the GED program, although he claims he lacks book sense and everything, but yet he was able to comprehend the sex offender treatment programs that we have and pass through there, which gives me a little bit of cause, a little concern about our programming. And so, I don't know that a few months of programming will have served him well. I feel like he would do much better here in custody with us, and I don't think he is a good risk for parole at this time.
Thank you, Warden Tanner. We appreciate your input. So at this time, Ms. Moore, if you're able, we'd like to hear your statement, if you'd like to make one.
Yes, ma'am, I would. I would just like to say that it's been 10 years since this happened. I was not 13, I was 12. I still live with this every day of my life. I am married and I have a child, and I still, on a weekly basis, wake up screaming with nightmares. I've been put in a mental hospital. I have to take more medications than any 22-year-old should ever have to take. I can't trust people anymore because the one man that I was supposed to trust with everything destroyed that for me. And I don't think that he still believes, that he did it. He's always said that he didn't do it. And despite what he says, I believe, he just says that because he wants to get parole. I don't think he actually believes he did it. And I don't think he's sorry for what he did.
Well, thanks for being here with us today. I know that took a lot of courage. I can see the emotional roller coaster that you've been on in the last few minutes. So we really appreciate your courage today.
Yes, ma'am.
For being here. All right. So we're going to ask Mr. Walters, would you make a brief statement to wrap it up for us?
Like I said, I'm sorry for what I done. Don't no person or woman deserve that. I'm sorry. Like I said, if I could do it over again, I would do it different.
All right. Thank you, sir. We'll ask the panel for their vote. We'll start with Mr. Rocha.
All right. We're going to ask the audience for their vote, and I'll put the timer in the chat. This, man, it's one of those. All right. Timer has started. The the poll is in the chat. WTF. Okay. What kind of man? I don't even know what to say. Like, this guy is so cold-hearted. Cold-hearted. Like, he didn't even have nothing to say in the beginning. He basically was like, "Man, I'm not a big talker." And when I found out it was his daughter, I already heard that it was a juvenile. Like, yeah, he gone, he done. But to make it even worse than that, like, how do you make something like that worse? Where you mess with a child, how do you make it worse? Your own child. That's how you make it worse. How you even do, man? And well, he got 20 years, but he pled. He took a plea deal for the 20 years, so they probably was offering him much more than that. Because people like this need life sentences. I don't care if he ain't kill nobody. And then they said there was other people who came out to speak out against and that accused him of this. I mean, listen, he's capable of anything. You can't put nothing past a guy like this. Look how he's so nonchalant. You would think he's in there for a traffic violation or something. You wouldn't believe that he was in there for what he was in there for, the way he responds, the way his attitude is. Like these people right here, these kind of people, yeah, keep him in there. Keep him in there. And shout out to the warden. Shout out to the warden for saying, yeah, he need to stay here. The warden was like, yeah, he needs to stay here. He does not need to go home at all. Oh, man. All right, we got 30 seconds left to vote. And so check out WeTheWabbits.com. Also check out the Discord. We are streaming live trials during the week while they are live in real time. You can get in the Discord and watch some trials as it's happening. We are streaming the YSL trial over there, and we're going to be streaming multiple trials as well in the Discord. Free to join. Anybody can join. However, to get exclusive access to the trials, all you have to do is be a member on this YouTube page, and you will have automatic access to those rooms. Other than that, the Discord is filled with other type of content, all kinds of content pertaining to crime, articles, videos, links to cold case files, all type of current events, crimes. So check out the Discord if you haven't. All right, we are on to this case, and this is how it goes if you don't know how it goes. Inmates are up for parole. They are in front of the parole board, and the parole board will interview them and then vote on whether or not they will grant or deny parole. Before the judges vote, I will put a poll in the chat and give the audience 3 minutes to vote on will the judges grant or deny parole in this case. And I will end the poll and then read the results. And then I will play the judges' results to see if the audience and the judges were in line. Until then, I will be in the chat with everyone else, and I'll be back when the judges are ready to vote.
Ms. Renata?
Yes, ma'am.
This is a case for Tremaine Harper, BOC number 409364. We have two participants here. We have Mr. Randy Meyer, 88 from Jefferson's Parish. And we also have Miss Gina Sheremy. She's the fiance and she's here in support. And she'll be speaking on behalf of Mr. Harper.
All right, great. Thank you. So good morning. I guess we're still, no, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you all for being here. My name is Cheryl Renatz. I'm serving as chairman of today's parole panel. My colleagues will introduce themselves to you, starting with Mr. Roche.
Good afternoon. My name is Alvin Roche.
Good afternoon. I'm Keith Jones.
Okay, and we have before us Mr. Harper. Mr. Harper, would you introduce yourself to the parole panel? Tell us your name and your DOC number.
I'm Tremaine Harper, DOC number 409364.
All right, so let me explain to you and Ms. Sheremy how the process will work this afternoon. I will read some identifying information into the record, after which I'll ask you to verify that information. We'll conduct a parole interview with you, and Mr. Roche will lead that interview process. Once he's concluded his interview, if Mr. Jones or I have any additional questions, we'll ask those questions then. We'll hear from Warden Tanner, what he has to say about your stay at Rayburn, and then we'll ask Ms. Sheremy for her input so that she can let us know what she'd like us to know. We'll ask for the assistant district attorney for his input, and at the very end, you'll be allowed to make a statement if you'd like to do so before we reach a parole decision. So let's get started. You ready? Okay.
That's mine.
Tremaine Harper, DOC number 409364. You're classified as a 5th felony offender. You have a sentencing date, May the 11th, 2015, possession with intent to distribute heroin. You received a 7-year sentence. You are afforded, you were placed on good time supervision. However, that was revoked in February of 2019. You have another sentencing date, August 12th, 2019, possession with intent to distribute heroin, 7 years. Simple escape, aggravated, for which you received a 2-year sentence running consecutively. You have a parole eligibility date, July 23rd, 2020. Your good time dates, February 18th, 2021. Full term date is April 23rd, 2027. Is that information correct? Well, he's, there you go. Is it
Yes,
correct?
ma'am. Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
good. All right. I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Roche for the interview.
Good afternoon, Mr. Harper. How are you?
I'm doing fine, sir.
Good. Mr. Harper, you're currently 36 years old.
Huh?
You're currently 36 years old, and you've been incarcerated for 2 years on a 9-year sentence. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And as Ms. Renaza said, you are a 5th felony offender. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And you've only been arrested 7 times.
Yes, sir.
But you pled guilty on 6 different occasions, and 5 of those were felonies. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
How many times have you been on supervision?
3 times, I think.
Well, let's say 4 times.
All right.
You were revoked in 2005. You were revoked in 2009, and you were revoked in 2014.
Okay.
So you've never had a positive period of supervision.
No, sir.
Why? Why is it that you don't follow the rules, and every time you're either on probation or parole, you are revoked?
Well, I had a problem dealing with drugs since the age of 15. So that was like one of my problems. I got incarcerated at the age of 15, and ever since, like, I've been kind of finding it hard to adapt to society. So I always wind up getting caught up. But I got 3 children out there now that need me, and I got a son that's 15 that's also incarcerated, that I would like to make it home to like break those chains and help to support him as well. But during my incarceration, I have only completed pre-release due to the COVID-19. All the rest of the classes that I had only had like a week or 2 to graduate before the COVID-19 came. But
Okay. Tell me what substance abuse program you were in.
ANA, and the Drug Dealers Anonymous, and I think that was about it.
Okay. What substance abuse program were you in at the time the COVID virus took over?
I signed up for ANA, but I never got enrolled into it.
Sir. Okay, let me give you some options, okay? Have you completed Living in Balance?
No, sir.
Have you completed Louisiana Risk Management 1 and 2?
Say it again, sir.
Have you completed Louisiana Risk Management phases 1 and 2?
I'm not quite sure what that is.
Okay, that's substance abuse.
All right.
Have you completed Celebrate Recovery?
No, sir.
So you haven't had any substance abuse treatment.
All right.
You've attended AANA meetings, but you have not had any substance abuse treatment, have you?
No, not since I've been in Rayburn.
Okay.
No.
Now, at the beginning of this interview, you admitted that you had a drug problem and an alcohol problem. how am I supposed to let you out on supervision when you have not treated the problem?
Well, I'm quite sure that I don't have an alcohol problem. I never drunk a day in my life. Before I was dealing with drugs, I started doing drugs very young. But
Sir, answer my question. How do you expect me to vote to release you when you have not treated the problem?
I have treated the problem like within my mind, and I could roll in like a drug program or supervision program when I'm released from here.
Okay, let's go to the next topic. I see where you've had no disciplinary write-ups since you've been incarcerated.
Yes, sir.
You should be commended. What was your job before the COVID-19 virus?
What, while being incarcerated?
Yes.
A dorm warden.
Okay. Are you a trustee?
No, sir. I can't make trustee because I think a simple escape or something on my jacket or something.
Yeah. And you had a 218 simple escape and a 219 conviction for that escape. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. I want to inform you that the Department of Corrections did a risk assessment of the probability of you reoffending. That risk assessment came back very high, which tells us that you have a high chance of reoffending. Okay, I see where you have no GED. Tell me why.
I was born with dyslexia. I've been receiving a disability check since the age of 9.
I was born with dyslexia also.
And I was born with diagnosed with.
Sir, I was born with dyslexia also. That doesn't stop you from getting a high school diploma.
I also was diagnosed with schizophrenia and everything.
Schizophrenia?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I was.
Let me inform you that you have opposition from the judge, the DA's office, the sheriff's office, and the chief of police. So let me sum this up for you, Mr. Harper. No GED, no substance abuse, opposition from law enforcement, a high risk assessment score. That's sort of a trifecta for me saying I probably will deny your request. Madam Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Roche. Mr. Jones.
Good afternoon, Mr. Harper. As to your GED and your dyslexia, my daughter is dyslexic, and I know it is a problem. She got her college degree with it, which means that she got her high school diploma first. Have you tried to take the GED exam?
Yes, sir, I did.
And what was the result?
My results is I find it very difficult. Like I've been struggling with that since I can remember. Like that's the reason why I was receiving disability in society. I'm born with a slow learning disability.
Well, have you, after you did poorly on the exam, did you begin going to classes?
Yes, sir.
And how'd you do in the classes? How long did you go to classes?
Probably like all the way up until about 4 or 5 months, something like that.
Okay. And then you quit?
Yes, sir.
Who wrote your letter that was written to us?
My fiance wrote it.
And you signed it?
I signed it, yes, sir.
Maybe if you worked harder getting your GED, you could write your own letter.
All right.
That would be progress. Warden Tanner, what can you tell us about Mr. Harper?
Mr. Harper's only been here for about 8 months now. Of course, a good portion of that time we've been dealing with the COVID-19 virus. He's present, as you probably are certain, he's currently in a quarantine dormitory, and that's why he's not with us in the hearing room today. But he has maintained a good conduct record in that he's had no write-ups. He's been able to comprehend the rule book and our policies and to follow those. And as has been noted, commend him for that. He has been participating in Living in Balance and Cage Your Rage before the virus curtailed our programs. And he's backlogged for AA and AANA and Thinking for a Change. I think he would benefit from the opportunity to enroll and participate in those programs once they're opened up and the quarantine is lifted on his unit.
Thank you, Warden. I have no other questions.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Mr. Harper, you mentioned an earlier mental health diagnosis. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you currently being followed by mental health there at Rayburn?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you on mental health medication?
No, I refuse the medication here because I see how I have some of the guys. So I refuse the medication here.
So you refused it. Why is that? Say that again.
Because I see how I have some of the other
I
inmates.
see.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I didn't understand you. I'm sorry. So when you were convicted of this crime, or when you committed the with the heroin, possession with intent to distribute heroin, you were on mental health meds then?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And so were you a user of heroin?
Yes, ma'am.
That probably doesn't mix real well with your mental health stuff, does it?
No, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks for being honest with me. I appreciate it. Mr. Meyer, could we, I tell you what, if you don't mind, Mr. Meyer, we'll hear from his fiance first, if that's okay. Miss Jeremy, are you still with us?
She was.
She was just there.
Yeah.
Miss Jeremy?
You're muted, Miss Jeremy.
There she comes. Here's.
Well, or not.
Well, I tell you what, while we wait for her.
Wait, she's back.
Yes.
No, she's not. Sorry.
Ms. Renata, it looks like she dropped off from the Zoom meeting.
Okay, she may be having some technical issues if the weather's getting bad. So we'll go ahead and hear from Mr. Meyer, and then if she comes back on, we'll hear from her. Go ahead, Mr. Meyer.
Yes, ma'am. Randy Meyer, Assistant DA in Jefferson Parish. We're opposed to Mr. Harper. From what I heard today, his lack of any substance abuse treatment is a huge factor, I think, in potentially, keeping him on the right track when he does eventually get released. He's got a number of weapons charges along with the drugs. and the high risk assessment. Those reasons sorry, one more. I counted 7 times under supervision, 7 times being revoked. Those reasons we feel he is a poor parole risk and think he should be denied.
Thank you, sir. There's Miss Gina, you're back. Miss Jeremy, you're on mute. Hold on just a second. You need to try to, there you go. Okay, go ahead.
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead and tell us what you'd like us to know.
I'd like y'all to know that he has grown so much since I've met him, and like I know he didn't take substance abuse and stuff, but the COVID came, so it was impossible to take classes there. So maybe he can take them when he gets out and get his GED, and I'll help him get it.
Well, good. That's good to hear. Thanks for being with us today. We appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Mr. Harper, is there something you'd like to say to us?
Only thing I can really say right now, like, I really feel like in my heart, I have changed. I became a better person, a better father, and I do like to make it home so I can raise my children right and just stay away from the bad things that I used to do. I'm 36 years old. I've been in and out of prison since the age of 15. I got adduced to heroin in prison, came home a heroin addict, and I've just been having a pretty rough life.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like really over that right now. Like I'm burnt out. I can't do it anymore. I'm just tired.
So your plan,
Grandmother.
Where's that at?
921 North Claiborne, Westwego, Louisiana.
Okay. Okay, good. Is the panel prepared to vote?
Yes.
Is the panel prepared to vote? Yes, the panel is prepared to vote. Your Honor, put the poll in the chat. Grab the timer. All right. Yeah, I think we got another one, guys. This guy, he did so bad because he thought that he was going to say that he has dyslexia, and that was going to make everything okay for his refusal to actually try to apply himself to learn anything meaningful. I mean, he got caught for selling drugs. You had to learn how to do that. I mean, if you're packaging and you're putting together you gotta learn. I mean, it's funny when people who can learn say that they can't learn while they learn to do the things that they really want to do. So it's crazy because Mr. Roche gonna say, I have dyslexia. I start to wonder if he's lying, if he just said that just to mess with him. So he's like, I was born with dyslexia. Like, man, that's even worse. The judge has dyslexia. You don't got no excuse. You have no excuse, sir. When the judge say, I got it, and then to pile on to that, Mr. Jones gonna say, my daughter has it, and she's finished college and all that. Like, bro, you made that excuse so that you don't, because you didn't want to take your GED, man. And this guy is young. He's taking heroin. Like, bro, what are you doing? What you doing? What are you doing? So he made a lot of bad mistakes. And the way that he's carrying around his dyslexia is almost like he was encouraged to believe that he can use it as an excuse. I don't know if maybe his parents would make it seem like it's an excuse or use it as an excuse for him, because he definitely, as an adult, seems like he runs to that excuse all the time, it seems like to me, because he was kind of confused that it didn't work. he was repeating it like, wait, they probably didn't hear me. I got dyslexia. He was repeating it, but it didn't work. It did not work. We got 25. All right, we're on our last one. How does this work? Well, the inmate is up for parole. The panel of judges will interview him and then vote and decide whether or not the inmate will be released on parole, granted parole, or denied parole. I'll put a poll in the chat right before the judges vote. I'll pause it and let the people vote for 3 minutes. I'll put they'll vote in the chat so that the chat can decide whether or not they think the judges will grant or deny parole. Then I will end the vote and read the results. Then I will play the judges' results. And then we will see if the judges and the audience were in line. Until then, I'll be in the chat with everyone else, and I'll be back when the judges are ready to vote.
Ms. Renato?
Yes, ma'am.
This is a case for Christopher Garrett, DOC number 126533. We have one participant here. It is his sister, Michelle Dunn, and she'll be speaking on his behalf.
Okay, great. Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Cheryl Renatz. I'm serving as chairman of today's parole panel. My colleagues on the panel will introduce themselves. We're starting with Mr. Roche.
Good afternoon. My name's Alvin Roche.
Good afternoon. I'm Keith Jones.
All right, and we have before us Mr. Christopher Garrett. Sir, would you tell us your name and DOC number?
Garrett, 126533.
All right. So let me tell you, Mr. Garrett, and for the benefit of Ms. Dunn, your sister, how the process will work. I'm going to read some identifying information into the record, after which I'll ask you to verify that information. We'll conduct a parole interview with you, and Mr. Roche will lead that interview. If Mr. Jones or I have any additional questions, we'll ask him once he concludes the interview process. We'll hear from Warden Tanner for his input into your record during your stay at that facility, and then we'll ask Ms. Dunn for her remarks. At the very end, you'll be allowed to make a statement if you'd like to do that before we reach a parole decision. Okay, so let's get started. So you are Christopher Garrett, DOC number 126533. You are classified as a fourth felony offender. Your most recent sentencing was May 6, 2014 as a habitual offender for attempted simple burglary. You received a 25-year DOC sentence. You have a parole eligibility date, which was January 22nd of this year. Your good time date is October 28th, 2037, and full term is October 23rd, 2038. Is all that information correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Roche for the interview.
Good afternoon, Mr. Garrett. How are you?
I'm doing well, sir. Thank you.
Good. Mr. Garrett, you're 49 years old. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Are you tired?
Sir?
Are you tired?
Are you tired of being incarcerated?
Yes, sir. Very tired of being in this situation.
49 years old. So you've made your 18th birthday 31 years ago. How many years have you been incarcerated in the last 31 years?
Probably between 10 and 15.
So half of your adult life.
Yes, sir, basically.
You are a fourth felony offender with 22 arrests. All right?
That sounds about right.
So what have you done in the last 6.5 years to correct that problem?
Well, I started with getting my GED, and that was my main accomplishment. And I've been through, I started VOTEC, and I've been through multiple faith-based programs to try to strengthen my faith in God, and I believe I've made that change.
And I want to congratulate you on your GED. That was 2015.
Yes, sir.
That was one of the first things you did.
Yes, sir.
And I also see that you finished substance abuse.
Yes, sir.
And how do you plan to use that treatment if and when you're released?
Well, I'd like to join in with, we have a church here called Church of the Kings, and I'd like to get in with their prison ministry and go to the youth detention and, just share my story and try to help somebody else.
Good. I also see that you completed anger management.
Yes, sir.
And tell me exactly what anger management is going to do for you.
Well, I've never really been an angry person, but I mean, it showed me how to get along with different people in life, that
that might be angry, that could get you angry, and I've learned how to deal with these situations.
And I see you completed a second substance abuse program, Living in Balance.
Yes, sir.
100 hours pre-release.
Yes, sir.
You completed CERT in 2019.
Yes, sir.
And I see that you're a facilitator for the NAAA program.
Yes, sir. I've been that for little over 4 years, but I got a 3.5-year degree. Yes, sir.
Okay, tell me what your responsibility is as facilitator.
Well, I basically run the class. We lay out, we do our readings every week. And then we just have an open discussion basically on any topic that's in our daily journal. And we just start off and we go ask everybody in our class, to put something into it and what they've learned and what they don't want to do when they get out.
Are you actively a sponsor for any one of the individuals?
No, sir, I'm not.
Okay. Department of Corrections does a risk assessment, and your risk assessment came out very low, which is a good thing. It tells us that you may not have a chance of reoffending. You have only one disciplinary write-up in 6.5 years, and that was some almost 3.5 years ago.
Yes, sir.
Tell me what happened that day.
That was basically a misunderstanding. I got woken up at 10:30 at night and saying that I had to go to work the next morning at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I don't know. I just woke me up, and I was like, why do I got to go to work? I didn't know I had to go to work, and they had gave me a disrespect, and maybe I deserved it.
Okay. Your residency plan is in Slidell, Louisiana. Tell me who you're going to live with.
With Michelle Dunn, my sister, who's going to speak in a little bit.
So, and you live with your sister. How many persons at your sister's home?
3, 4, 5, I believe.
So you're going to keep busy.
Yes, sir.
You got some nieces and nephews?
Plenty.
Okay. And you're going to set a good example for them, right?
Yes, sir.
And I see you're going to be working in Madisonville. Tell me what you're going to be doing.
Remodeling houses and painting and just odds and ends, whatever the company seems to get at that time.
So sort of a remodeling company.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Are you presently a trustee?
No, sir, I'm not.
Okay. And so I see it. I was going to ask you about your job, vocational training, but you have some training in construction.
Not really construction, but I've got training in. I was a tree climber before being arrested. I climbed trees 25 years.
Oh. So basically, you worked for a tree trimming company?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Tell us why we should vote to release you early today.
Well, I believe that I've made a significant change in my life, thanks be to God. I'd really like to be with my family, and I feel like I've really tried hard to make a change.
I see evidence. I see where you've been on supervision on 3 different occasions, and 2 of those occasions you terminated full term without any violations.
Yes, sir.
And you were revoked on 1 occasion. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Garrett,
Yes, sir.
are you ready to be a productive member of society, tax-paying and law-abiding citizen?
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. Garrett, you're a full felony offender. If you ever convicted of a felony again, well, you know what's going to happen.
Yes, sir. It's not going to happen.
Madam Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Roche. Mr. Jones?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Good afternoon, Mr. Garrett.
Good afternoon, sir.
What was your drug of choice?
Marijuana.
But you were arrested on with other stuff.
Yes, sir. I had some other stuff on me. Yes, sir.
To sell or?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Who were you with when you did your first 5th step?
When I what?
When you did your first 5th step.
My first 5th step?
Yeah, you know, you're a facilitator of AA, right?
Yes, sir. I'm not quite sure, sir.
Well, it's really the only one you have to be with somebody to do.
Well, I mean.
Do you know which one is the 5th step, Mr. Garrett?
Right now, my mind's blank, sir.
Yeah. Do you read how it works before every meeting?
Yes, sir, they do.
Yep, it's right in there. You know, all 12 of them. 5th step is telling to guide yourself and another human being the exact nature of your wrong.
Of our own. Promptly admitted it when we. Yes,
so
sir.
Have you ever done that?
Yes, sir, I have.
And who was with you? God, yourself, and another human being. Who was the other human being?
My sister, my mother.
Okay, so when did this take place?
When they came to see me here.
Okay, and how many times have you done a 5th step since then?
None, sir.
Okay, well, there's stuff later that talks about when you're wrong, promptly admitting it. Remember that?
Sir. Yes, sir.
So obviously, Mr. Garrett, I've been to a meeting or 2 myself.
Yes, sir.
And we don't call them classes on the outside. Did you ever go to AA outside prison?
No, sir, I haven't.
Well, there's lots of them, lots of meetings. But right now, we're not having meetings except by the same medium that you and I are talking today.
Yes, sir.
But there are, you know, the advantage of that is that I can go to a meeting in Los Angeles if I want to, or New York, or Ottawa, or Mexico if I spoke Spanish, because you're connected online. And the other thing is, since you don't have to take the time to go there, it just lasts an hour and you're done with the meeting. But they are important.
Yes, sir.
So tell me what your plan is. How are you going to stay away from marijuana when you get out?
Well, I'm a join with Church of the King, the church that comes here, and I'm gonna stay connected with them and do all I can to help the community. Mentor and be mentored.
Yeah. Sure was hoping you'd say something about AA in there.
Well, I mean, I would like to go to AA and do some of them. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Here's the reasons why you want to go to AA meetings if you're on parole. my colleagues can tune out if they like. They've heard it before many times. Number one, nobody ever got in any trouble at an AA meeting. Number two, when you're at AA meetings, you're with people who are clean and sober.
Yes, sir.
Number three, you keep going to the same meetings, you'll make friends who are clean and sober, and you could use some friends like that.
Yes, sir.
Number four, you get a sponsor. Mr. Roche mentioned that. Part of the program is that you find someone who is ahead of you in the program, who is more experienced than you, and they will give you advice about a lot of things, whatever you want to rely on them for. And number five, and the best part, is you get to try to live your life according to the 12 steps, which is a good way to live a simple, honest life. And before you got there, being honest was not your long suit, was it?
No, sir, not at all.
And when I say that, I suspect the person you were least honest with was Mr. Garrett.
Yes, sir, myself.
So there are great things available to you in AA that you might not have otherwise known anything about before you came to prison, but you've realized the value of it, and you're going to use it, I think, to make your life better.
Yes, sir.
That's all I have, Mr. Garrett. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. We'd like to hear from Warden Tanner.
Yes, ma'am. Christopher, as been noted, his conduct record is good. He's had just one write-up. He has been employed in a job since he's been here. He's kept active. As at one point, for a good while, he was a cell block orderly. He worked in the cell block and was able to do that without getting into any trouble, that's a major accomplishment, because the offenders that work in the cell block are often pressured into doing things to help the guys that are in there that they shouldn't be doing. And he obviously withstood that pressure, and he didn't get any write-ups, and so he's to be commended for that. I see he was worked for a little while as a trainer for our canine rehab program, where he helped to we take in shelter dogs and train them and make them a little bit more adoptable. And he did that for a while. As he said, he's got his GED before he came to this facility. Since he's been here, and he's currently enrolled in the building tech program, a member of the inmate recognition program. And he reminded me, and I appreciate this, he plays in the inmate band, and they put on a little concert with the choir, along with the choir, every year at our Christmas dinner. And so we appreciate that. I told him I didn't want to find out that he's playing in any honky-tonk band when he gets out, and he assured me he wouldn't be. But I think Christopher it's to an age now that hopefully that he's done with the foolishness that he's been involved with in the past. He's not getting any younger. I think he's old enough and capable enough at this time to get out and do what's required of him. And I support his parole today.
Well, thank you, Warden Tanner. We appreciate that. We'd like to hear from Miss Dunn and the little giraffe shirted little one who's been snacking.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Due to babysitting, I wrote my stuff down because I would forget.
Sure.
Just going to read it. First off, I think I want to go to AA, even though I don't have troubles, because nobody's in trouble at AA. They're all clean and sober. All their friends are clean and sober. Get a sponsor. Well, I don't need a sponsor, but a living according to the 12 steps. That sounds like anybody could benefit from that. But I want to thank y'all for the opportunity to speak on my brother's behalf. I want to start by saying that Chris had a very rough childhood and upbringing. He was kicked out when he was 16 years old, and he was forced to fend for himself. And as a lot of people do when they're put in that position, they get the wrong friends. Chris had to basically steal to survive, just to eat. So I have seen that he has I've seen that he's grown so much spiritually, which is something that I pray for all the time. I work at a church and I'm in law enforcement, so I'm constantly on to him. He will live here with me, so there will be a no tolerance for mess up rule. He doesn't have to worry about probation and parole. Wait a minute. Thank you. He won't have to worry about probation and parole drug testing him, because sister's going to drug test him every week. I not only want my brother home, but I really need him home. My mother is on hospice. She's dying. She has terminal B-cell lymphoma, and I really want him to be able to see her before it's too late and to help with her care, because I do it by myself. But that's it.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you for your service.
Oh, thank you.
And thank you for taking the time to be with us today. Mr. Garrett, what would you like to say? This is your opportunity for your statement.
I just want to make a positive change. Like I said, I want to join with Church of the King and just be a positive role model for the younger generation, and do all I can to become a change. This time has truly blessed me, and it's probably one of the best things that could have ever happened. Oh, I'm very grateful for it, and I believe it's made me who I am today. Thank you.
Well said. Well said. I think we are ready to vote. Mr. Roche?
I think we are ready to vote. Man, they are smiling. All right, we are on our last one. Hold on 1 second. Oops. All right. We are on our last one. And this is our last vote. Hold on. Let me get the timer ready, so I can drop the link in the chat. All right. There we go. Timer started. Get your votes in. Get your votes in. This is our last one. That's it for the night. Want to thank everybody for coming out. Everybody who voted. Everybody that hit the like button. This was a very entertaining live. I enjoyed myself. I hope you guys enjoyed yourself. Very interactive, very informative, and very fun. Very fun. I believe he's going home. I believe this man is getting a golden ticket. Sir, you're going home today, sir. I would be surprised. I would definitely be surprised if they denied him. But look at Miss Renata. She's smiling and she's over here like, man, I'm letting you go home today. She's looking at she over here smiling and her dimples and stuff. It's like, man, listen. Mr. Roche, he over there like, Mr. Roche, like, I'm proud of you, man. They like the guy's answers and everything. I mean, This one looks pretty. He look like he got this in the bag, man. Look like he got this in the bag. The lady with the baby though, I was like, that's a little bit too extra. Like you're doing the most, lady. Give somebody the baby for a little bit while you handle important business. But I guess the baby got to make it look good. The baby's like the icing on the cake. Cause I'm like, man, somebody needs to be watching the baby while you take care of business. So yeah, that's what I think. I think he's going home, y'all. His crimes wasn't like some of the ones we heard earlier today. Woo, man. Some of those crimes right there. My goodness. But yeah, it's very interesting to see some of these people, the things that they do and the things that they try to get away with. I'm gonna be looking into some actual court cases and trials and putting some true crime stuff together. So look forward to those. All right, we got 20 seconds. All right. Time to end the poll. And the votes are in. We got 8 votes. Will the judges grant parole in this case? 75% says yes, and 25% says no. So that's where we are with it. And let's see what the judges got to say.
Mr. Garrett, based upon good programming, a excellent conduct record, a good transitional program, and I see where you will be cared for by your sister, and she's going to keep you on the straight and narrow. Positive remarks by Warden Tanner. My vote is to grant your request this afternoon. Conditions of that vote is that you have a curfew from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. You are to attend at least 3 NAAA meetings a week. You are to do community service with disadvantaged youth at least 6 hours a month. You can use the Church of the Kings as a source of your audience. I want you to talk to disadvantaged youth to tell them your story and try to lead them in a different direction. And the last condition that I will place on you is that you maintain full-time employment. Good luck.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Jones?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I was interested to hear you say that this prison stay has made you who you are today, because I thought, well, I think who you are today is paroled, but I only have one vote. So first of all, Ms. Dunn, my mom's maiden name was Dunn. My middle name is Dunn, and if you read the 12 steps, they apply to everything. Overeaters, you name it, everybody uses the same 12 steps because only step 1 mentions alcohol. It really is a nice guidepost for a way to live your life. You'll see what I mean when you read them. And you are a lucky man to have an advocate like her. I agree with Mr. Roche. However, I have not an additional condition, but I want to expand it a little bit. And he said he wants you to go to 3 AANA meetings a week. First of all, I think you'll find, even though marijuana was your issue, you'll find that AA meetings tend to be more beneficial to you than NA meetings. I've had a number of people tell me that, and there are some reasons, but try them both, and I think you'll see. But for now, the only way you can go to a meeting outside of prison is on Zoom, and I want you to go until we have a vaccine or until things open up so that we have meetings on the outside again. I want you to go on Zoom, go to a meeting every day, every single day. It's only an hour out of your day. Your sister, no doubt, will have it thoroughly researched by the time you get there as to where and what numbers, how you access the Zoom meetings. And you're not limited to where you are. They can be anywhere. So, but you'll find out a lot about the program, more than you know now, and get the benefit of other people's wisdom, which is, after all, at the heart of AA. It's alcoholics and drug addicts helping other alcoholics and drug addicts stay sober. So, but I want you to do the AANA by Zoom every day for at least 90 days. After that, you can do it 3 days a week. But once you're allowed to go out and go to meetings, that's what I want you to do, because then you meet real live people. And you can get a real live sponsor that way, and you'll be able to spend time with and make friends with those real live clean and sober people I told you about. So, good luck to you, Mr. Garrett.
Thank you, sir.
All right, Mr. Garrett, based on the hard work that you've done, the things that I've heard here today, and Warden Tanner's support, my vote today also is to grant your parole with the special conditions that have already been explained to you. You understand those conditions?
Yes, ma'am.
Madam Chairman,
Yes, sir.
may I make a request?
Yes, sir.
I'd like to make a request of the staff that they expedite his release as soon as possible.
Thank you, sir. Will do. All right. So you received a unanimous vote today. Congratulations, sir. And thank you, Ms. Dunn.
Thank you.
So you need.
Okay, Mr. Roche. Mr. Roche, like, yo, I need you to let him out as soon as we end this. Yo, as soon as we end this call, can you see if you could walk him right out the building? Okay, like, listen. Mr. Roche is like, listen, I'm gonna need him to leave the building immediately as soon as we end this. He don't need to be in jail no more. They like this guy. They liked him. He did it, man. He did it. Well, we did it, y'all. We did it. We got through all of these. You guys stuck it out with me. I appreciate that. I appreciate y'all. Give a shout out to all the members and people with memberships, because as we know, the memberships and the fan funding what keeps this page running. So I want to shout out to everybody before I go. So shout out to Sam Ryan, 7G07, Diana Deborah, George Smith, KTC, Letitia Third Eye POV, Jamie Jules, Jason with a Carrot, Go Getter, Dove C Lit, Thick Cut, Evolve May, Tora Hayes, Mad Max 250, Sonya B, Draco, Toby Kaiwu, Shorty XOXO, T, Lovey Star, Roll Rich ENT, Queen of Three, Egon Breeze Block, Nene Faye, Sugar Bear, Lucy, Fats TV, Bree, Top Monster Gaming, Sheila B, Miss Eve, 27 Durin, Thaddeus, It Is What It Is, J Dub, Katana, Dana Maria, D Grant, Alif CJ, Kobe Knowles, Distracting One, Gems Eye View, Long Live EA, Tesha Z's, Highly Favored, Uncle L, Real Time TV, Sunrise 71, Steve A, Trey Spectives, Courtney Peach. Thank you. Thank you to all of y'all. Thank you to everybody that voted. Thank you to everybody that hit the like button and subscribe and share this. And be on the lookout for more content like this. And I got premieres coming, so you guys can see some court trials, some court cases in my premieres. And I appreciate everybody. I appreciate all the support, and thank you to everybody. Thank you to everyone that hit the that went and checked out the Wabbit store. Thank you to everyone that hit the Cash App and the PayPal and the Super Chat. And I'll see you guys next time I go live, or the next time, or in my next premiere, because I'll be having premieres pretty much every day. So be on the lookout. If I don't go live, at least you can expect a premiere every day or every other day. Sometimes I cannot do every day, but every day or every other day. And I'll see you guys, or let me say at least 2 to 3 times a week, just in case it got some weeks where I get too pressed. I don't want to lock myself to every other day or every day. So at least 2 to 3 times a week at least. But for right now, you can look forward to some premieres every day. Thank you guys once again, and I'll see you around. Wabbit Crime Network is out. I'm getting out of here.